What is up, my dudes and dudettes? Today, we have a very special, very long fingerboard review to get to. I don't think this one will be super extensive because it is really early in the morning. I woke up at 7 this morning, and I am feeling really tired. But we're gonna crank out this review anyways because I promised it, and gotta live up to your promises, they say. So, let's just take a look at some of the things we are going to be reviewing today in this video. We have two Ready to Shred guides. This one you may have seen in live streams and stuff. This one was on the old fingerboard park. I'm still working on getting the table. But, basically, this one I've had for over a year now. This one, though, is 100% brand new. The only reason I'm including this shred guide in the review is simply because I never actually did a review on it when I got it, so obviously we got to do a review on it. And we also have 4 tech decks to be looking at today. Now, I did have the footage of me opening all of these. You know, I was going to give you all the full opening a tech deck experience. But a lot of that footage got corrupted while I was editing the video, and now I can't really get any of that footage back. So we're just gonna go with keeping them out of the boxes and stuff. But anyways, let's get into it. Now the first Ready to Shred guide we're gonna review is the first one I got, which would be just the Ultimate Guide to Fingerboarding. Now, these ones, you can find them at, like, a Scholastic Book Fair or whatever. That's actually where I got the 2 I currently have, is at Scholastic Book Fairs. Because, little bro gets to go to the book fair. So I get to go to the book fair. But, we're just going to take a look at the actual guide itself. Now, the guide itself pretty much explains what is a fingerboard, how do you do tricks, the history of fingerboarding. It's got this very nice little graphic here with the rail and everything. It's got a bunch of fingerboarding vocabulary, like bail, flip trick, line, stuff like that, Stuff you can really easily learn. Again, we're not going to go too in-depth on the book here, because the book, it's kind of self-explanatory. It just teaches you some basic fingerboard tricks, like tray flips, I'm pretty sure. It teaches you grinds, teaches you ollies, all that stuff. And the other book basically does a really similar thing. It just explains some different aspects of fingerboarding than this one. So, we're going to put this one to the side for now. And we're going to bring out the deck that came with it that I have used in a few videos. Now, this deck you may have seen used in a recent fingerboarding video called Flipping Awesome. Or if you're an older fan of the channel, you may have seen this used in my second long-form fingerboarding video, Flipped Script. Now, this board is really good. I like the graphic. It's simple. It's easily readable. It just says flip. So, I like this board. It did not, however, come with these green flip wheels. Don't know if the camera will focus on it, but these I got out of a flip starter pack for Tech Deck for the 28mm boards. And I decided to just put them on the green flip deck for Flipping Awesome, because I thought it'd be a nice touch. But there's still this thing, this little package right here. Now, what is in this little package is absolutely cool. It is a skate ramp. So we're going to bring this out. We're going to bring out all the pieces, if I can get the piece out. Yeah, I think I got all the pieces. Alright, so this just comes with like 4 pieces. They're really simple to assemble. So we're going to assemble this off camera and, just put it together and try to explain how to use it, I guess. Now that we've got this put together, this is the ramp you get with your Ready to Shred guide. It is a decent looking ramp, but do not let the looks deceive you, at least in my opinion. This ramp is dog shit. I'm gonna be blatantly honest with my opinions here. This is a dog shit ramp. That might just be because I am not skilled enough at fingerboarding to do anything with this. But it's just, this thing is only good for, like, drop-ins, in my opinion. You can't, like, there's no ollie room here. You have to, there's no ollie room here. There's, like, no room on this obstacle, which is my only problem with it. It looks good, in theory. Like, this looks really good in my opinion. It's just, it's so unusable that it ruins the entire experience of getting to use this thing and getting to actually take it out of the box and everything, because you just can't use it unless you're either using like one of those Hot Wheels tech decks with the shoes put on it, or if you're just like superbly good at fingerboarding, I guess. But yeah, this obstacle gets a pretty low rating of a 2 out of 5 for obstacles. The board here, I give the board a a 6 out of 10. Mainly because it's a 28 millimeter, and they're very, they're a lot thinner than what I'm used to, because I'm used to skating one of these, and you can visibly see the difference here. But, still, I would say it's a decent board. I've used it for 2 fingerboarding videos, so I think it is a good board, and I do like using it. But overall, I give the Ready to Shred guide a, in terms of, usefulness, helpfulness, and the obstacle being an absolute pile of dog shit, in my opinion, I give it a 7 out of 10. Up next, we have the Shred Zone guide. Now, this one isn't really teaching you, it's kind of teaching you the same things you're learning in the Ready to Shred guide, except for this one gives you a couple tips and tricks and stuff. And it also comes with a different type of skate ramp. And this is the board it comes with. I'm not going to be bringing it out of the package just because I think it looks better in there. But I would want to remove that zip tie. It's tempting to remove the zip tie. Anyways, let's open it up. Again, here's our little book. Just a quick flip through there. I got some different pages in here. Teaches you what fakie and switch are. Teaches you how to build the ramp, put it on the book and everything. Got some basic tricks for you. Kind of the same stuff you're learning in the Ready to Shred guide, but it just elaborates a little bit more on some other things like skating switch and what fakie is and stuff, which I find nice. Now here are the pieces to the ramp it comes with. Now again, we're going to build the ramp off camera because this thing will take too long to build on camera. So, alright, now here is the ramp. And, this thing looks really nice. Now, this is the point where it attaches to the book. We're not going to attach it to the book because you don't necessarily need to. It's a good standalone obstacle. No, I find this thing pretty useful. You kind of have to hold it or put, like, some kind of, like, foam pads on here. I think that would probably help it, not, shift around while you're trying to do stuff off of it. But we're going to hold it down for now because I don't feel like putting rubber pads on it. But, besides me fucking that trick up, this thing I like a lot better than the last one. I find it a lot more usable. And quite honestly, it doesn't feel as cluttered as the other one. Because again, this one is just a small kicker and then a little bit of a larger kicker kind of put next to each other. So it's not too chaotic. It's not screaming, oh, you gotta do fucking pop shove, 360 no scope to the rail, whatever. But, this one, I still find it cool. I like the, the designs on these ramps, especially. That's why I keep buying these, is the designs on the ramps. I find them really cool. And, yeah. This obstacle gets a 4 out of 5, mainly because it slides around a bit when you're using it if you don't have it on the book. But it is still a decent obstacle, and nevertheless, you can still get some pretty sick clips off of this, so. I highly recommend this Ready to Shred Guide obstacle. Now, I think it's still a good introduction to fingerboarding. I think that this, very well on its own, could really help you in your fingerboarding journey. But I think that these are kind of just, books that are meant to help people. Now, we can get into the part of the video I have been waiting the entire time to get to, which is reviewing some of these new decks I got. Now, I'm going to show off the paper that came with all of the decks that I just bought. Now, we have all 3 of these Simpsons ones and 1 of these Ninja Turtle ones to get reviewing. So, let's just jump to that. First board, we're going to look at Homer Simpson. Now, the Homer board, I love the shape of it. I have used this thing a little bit since I, opened it and then the file corrupted. But it's a good board for impossibles, I believe. I say that and then instantly fail an impossible. Let's try that again. Apparently I can't do an impossible this morning. Now, this is a good board for, doing impossibles, I believe. But any flip tricks or anything are really hard to do on this board from my personal experience. And I did put bushings on it and everything so that it wasn't, stuck with the crappy Tech bushings. But, overall, I give this board, I don't know, a 6 out of 10. Because, again, it is somewhat hard to use, but the shape and the graphic, definitely worth it. So, again, if you're a fingerboard collector and you like, collecting fingerboards, this is a good fingerboard for your collection, because I don't know how long they are going to have these out. But it's on the usability scale, it's just barely there. It's usable, but just barely, in my opinion. Up next, we have the Bart board. Again, this one's pretty similar to the Homer board. It's good for impossibles, but other than that, it is somewhat hard to use because, again, there's no nose to this board, and this is a problem I have with these types of boards, is when they don't have a nose. It doesn't make it easy to use. For me at least, I can't do any flip tricks on this. I have not landed a single flip trick on this board the entire time I've had it, except for impossibles. But, one thing I do like about this board is the use of these, pink cruiser wheels that look really nice. I wish they would have made, some, blue trucks or something to make it look more like Bart's board. But, I got blue bushings on there instead, because those are the only color of bushings I have. But yeah, this board right here, after using it, I give it a solid 5 out of 10, just because there's no nose to it, and it really doesn't, for me, work as a board. This is more of a collection piece for me. But yeah, this is something I would just show off to my friends and be like, yeah, Tech made this. This is an actual Tech product. Alright, now we're getting into the good stuff. We have the other Bart board, which has a really nice graphic of Bart Simpson over here, looking really gnarly. We got a little wheel flying off his nice little board. Again, blue trucks, just like in the show. But, this thing, I've also used it, and again, it's good for impossibles. I'm noticing that these Simpsons boards are mostly good for impossibles, for me at least. Again, I'm not good with flip tricks and doing all sorts of, varial kickflips, and stuff like that. I can do them, just not on these flat, no concave boards and stuff. It gets really hard for me to use them. But again, that's just kind of my own error, which is why I'm going to give this one a 5 out of 10 as well. I love the shape. The shape is fucking awesome. It is a old school cruiser, like something Tony Hawk would have used while doing some vert. And, I love the graphic on it. I think it's very cool. Like the little pink wheels and stuff. It's just that it is very hard for me to use and everything. And it's just not my cup of tea when it comes to fingerboarding. Alright, and then last but not least, we have my favorite board out of this set, the Ninja Turtle Santa Cruz board. This one, I got it mainly because I was a really big fan of Ninja Turtles as a kid, and I still do love my Ninja Turtles to this day. I put some very nice foam grip tape, and I put like a little line near like the 1/3 mark on the deck, just to make it look cool, I guess. And yeah, this one, I love it. This board, I don't even think I have to give it an introduction. This thing automatically gets like an 8 out of 10, just because it's that really nice popsicle shape I like. You know, I've used lots of tech decks with the same exact shape, and I always give them at least a 7 to 8 out of 10. So this one's automatically going to get an 8, maybe a 9, because it's just Ninja Turtles, and I love Ninja Turtles. Anyways, that was it for today's review. I know this is probably the least extensive fingerboard review I've done, but there was, again, a lot to review in this video. It's really early in the morning. I just don't feel like recording a shit ton of dialogue. So we're just going to cut it short here. But again, I recommend all of these products to anybody who is getting into fingerboarding. You know, it's good to experiment with different board shapes and stuff. It's good to experiment with like some wacky board shapes, or even just some like board shapes you may not be used to. But it is always nice to go back to a board shape you're really used to and to kind of experiment while learning tricks and stuff. And again, with these two, wow, that was loud. With these two books, it really doesn't matter if you're semi-good, really good, absolutely shit, or like piss poor, not good at all at fingerboarding. These books are helpful. They are good learning tools, and they can help you overcome some of those points of fear with fingerboarding, to where the fear of not landing a trick is a thing. You know, it's not the fear of hurting yourself on the board. It's not the fear of, you know, not impressing your friends. It's just the fear of not landing a trick. And, you know, these can really help you overcome that, as well as teach you the steps and the way to do the tricks correctly and everything. But yeah. Anyways, again, probably the least extensive and worst fingerboard review I've ever pushed out. But, anyways, with all that being said, I bid you good day. Peace.